Wait, we are live. Are we live? Yes, we are live.
Yeah, we live. Hi, people.
Who do we have? Oh, wait. Let me just put this more to center. There we go. All right, guys. Today we're doing something very, very interesting. Okay. Objectively interesting. Okay. We're gonna talk about. Oh, Soha is saying idea is great. Thank you, Soha. We're gonna go over Muhammad's prophet, second part of his prophethood, right? So the first part, when he became a prophet at age 40, okay, the first part of his life was as a prophet was in Mecca, where he had very little following. Everybody was attacking him, and he seemed like a half decent person, nice, worried about the poor and all that. Not all good, but seemed pretty nice. But then he ran away and he went to this other city. He left Mecca and he went to Yathrib, now known as Medina or Madinatul Nabi. Anyways, it used to be called Yathrib. And there he started leading. He became a ruler, right? So we have his Meccan phase, Mecca phase, and the Medani phase. And almost everything you have from Islamic teaching with regards to how to rule, how to do politics, Sharia, and all of that comes from this second half of his prophethood. Okay, so we have. Oh, go on.
Kenji has a good comment. Meccan period has New Testament vibes, and Medinan period has Old Testament vibes. So he went backwards.
Oh, that's very interesting. I never thought about it like that.
A little bit more,
Yeah, very loosely.
Fire and brimstone in the Medinan phase.
Very loosely, but
yeah.
But if that helps, sure. So what we're doing here is that we have two atheists here.
Oh, that's me.
Yes. Well, and also a whole bunch of atheists a whole bunch of murtads. Oh, speaking of, Murtad Skeptic is here. A bunch of murtads in the live chat as well. But me and Susie, we have I am the ex-Muslim atheist, and Susie is the ex-Christian atheist. Okay, represent. So I was hoping, and I'm correct, I think, that Susie doesn't really know the details behind, like in Muhammad's lives, and most people don't know. Most Muslims don't even know. Okay, so Susie doesn't know what Muhammad did, how his history went, was like.
True.
I mean, you know more than most people, but still, there's a major gaps there, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm no scholar.
Yes. You know more than an ex-Christian should know, but still, there's you don't know the details of the story. Okay, I grew up in elementary school. We had to memorize this crap. And all the details of what Muhammad did, this battle and that battle. There are three main battles, right? That everything goes around those three battles that we're gonna get to. There's a fourth battle that nobody seems to give much of give a crap about. But anyways, so this is a good way for us to try to judge Muhammad's leadership as atheists without trying to be very objective about it, right? So we're not going to do the whole anti-Islam, try to be we're not going to do the obvious thing that people expect, like look at everything Muhammad does and be like, that was dumb, what the hell, this is like a warmonger, everything he does. Like we're gonna try to be as objective as possible. Like
try to humanize him.
We're gonna try to humanize him. Like we're gonna go through his life as a leader, and if he does something good, we're gonna give it to him. We're like, oh yeah, Muhammad. we would do like we're gonna see if we would have made the same decision as a leader.
Oh, geez.
Okay, if Susie was Prophet Muhammad or if I was Prophet Muhammad,
Are we gonna go start going choppy on people's hands? Is that what you're telling me?
Well, no, that's not. Okay, well, that's too much. These are the main highlights. It's not going to get that. Okay. Anyways, let me see what anything in the live chat you want to highlight.
Yes, Kenji paid me a compliment. Kenji, the potato enthusiast, was saying, as a once very serious Muslim, I can say Susie knows more about Islam than a lot of Muslims.
Yeah, I would even say more than most Muslims, because it's not just a lot of Muslims, most Muslims, because Muslims don't know much about Islam, to be honest.
Armin has been telling me that, and I didn't believe him for a long time until I started talking to people who are mad at me for desecrating the Quran, and I bring up things, and they're like, "What? That's not in the Quran." I'm like, "Yeah, it is."
And there's certain things about Islam that Susie knows more than even I do, like more than some scholars even. Okay, there are some.
That's not true.
No, like there are certain. Yeah. Okay. So, for example, when it comes to the politics in between different fractions of Shia Islam, you know more than most like Sunni scholars do, right? So that's like that's very specific though. Like there are certain things within Islam that really grabs your interest, and then that actually you know more about that than I do. So
I do watch a lot of Shia propaganda. I was watching some this morning, in fact.
Yes.
It's a lot of fun. I don't know why.
I don't know why I did. Oh, we got a super chat. Thank you.
I don't know how to say your name, but thank you for the $5.
Yes.
I'm just gonna call you Al.
Al. Thank you so much, Al. All right. Let's do this. But how do I?
Susie knows how to use basic logic, which puts her above the scholars.
Okay, no, but it doesn't. I mean, to be fair to the scholars, they have memorized a lot of crap.
Made up stuff.
Yeah, like some of them are like their brains are like. I mean, it's useless. It's like a hard drive. Like, yeah, but they have. Sometimes I get impressed by a lot of these scholars about how much hadith they memorize. So there's something. It's useless, but it is somewhat impressive.
Oh wow, we just got another super chat with no comment.
Wow, guys, why are you guys being so generous today?
With the little Zoroaster logo.
Thank you so much. It's Ahura Mazda.
Oh yeah.
Oh no, it's Farahar. Yeah. They are like fantasy nerds. Yes, they are. Yes.
Like how deep in Potter lore can you go?
Barbara, I don't know if you've seen our coverage on Zoroastrianism. Maybe you wouldn't give us a super chat if you saw how our views on Zoroastrianism. But thank you anyways.
Well, don't tell them that now.
This is why we don't make any money, because
this is why we don't grow.
This is why we don't grow.
Maybe our tactic of slaughtering every sacred cow is not a good one.
Oh, look at this. This is actually a good comment. The perfect submission of theology. It's worthless but interesting.
Isn't that basically what Richard Dawkins told Cosmic Skeptic about him studying theology?
Yeah, okay. Theology. Okay, theology worthless but interesting. History of religion, I wouldn't say worthless. History of religion is interesting and somewhat useful. Wow, guys, we haven't even started and we're getting another £5 super chat.
Oh my god, thank you. Tojo is saying thanks for the furries, but I can't afford to become a member. Because on the news show, because of us, Tojo looked up what furries was for the first time. Do you remember that? And then I was like, I think I might like it. And then you were like, as a thank you, you should subscribe.
Yeah, no, I was okay,
but Tojo, wait.
Thank you. No,
Armin always says if you don't support us financially, if you can't support us financially, so yeah, don't.
Yes, don't. Yeah, please do not support us financially at all if it's difficult. Yes, we should make more. Yeah. Anyways, guys, let's get to, I can't believe we're talking about furries in a video that was supposed to be about Muhammad politics.
Our holy prophet, peace be upon him.
Okay. Okay, so this starts with Makkah. By the way, this is the historicity of all of this is based on nothing. Okay, so let me just be clear. Everything, like even Makkah wasn't even here at this time. This is all made up stuff. Okay.
Oh wait, we got another super chat.
Oh my god, guys!
Thank you for bot again for the $5. Saying, oh, you stop clicking on. I don't believe religion, but as a culture, I like Zoroastrianism culture.
Oh, that's good. Oh, that's what we're trying to promote here at the Atheist Republic. Cultural, enjoying religion as culture without believing in them. That's great. That's very nice. I appreciate. Wow, I've never met a cultural Zoroastrian. That's great, fantastic. That's more of that, please. Thank you.
Thank you for supporting us. Okay, you were saying so.
I was saying that we are not endorsing. Like we are going to review all of this history, okay, with the understanding that none of this probably happened. Okay, we have a lot of serious scholars. Okay, we're not talking about online YouTubers or anti-Islamic bloggers and stuff like that have put a lot of serious reason for doubt is an understatement on anything that we consider to be history when it comes to the early part of Islam. Okay, in fact, all of this is so much in question now that the existence of this city at this time is now also questioned. Okay, so when we go through these battles and all of these things, just understand that we don't even know Muhammad existed or not. Okay, there were probably somebody that did something that united all the Arabs out, and started invading stuff outside of Arabia, but we don't know what his name was. We have there's so many. So basically, what I'm saying is that we're gonna review this story as mythology rather than history. Okay. This is canonized in Islam, so we just understand it as Islamic mythology, and that doesn't mean we can't judge it. Whether Muhammad was real or not, whether what he did happened or didn't happen, that doesn't mean we can't judge it. We could say Voldemort is evil, or maybe you're on the side of Voldemort and against Harry Potter. I don't know, but you can still make judgments without them being real. Okay? Anyways. That being said.
Leaving their homes behind, Muhammad and his small band of Muslims migrated to a new city without anything to their names. No property, no money, no protectors, but their most prized possession, faith. This is where everything about Islam and Muhammad changes.
By the way, this is a channel called Al Muqaddama. If you guys want to go check it out. I like this. This looks pretty. This says Muhammad Rasulullah. It's very artistic.
Wait, I have a question. What is the background of this channel? Like, what kind of a bias are we dealing with here?
This guy is actually, I'm very impressed with this guy because he's a Muslim, but he really tries hard. Even recently to put his bias aside. He's a Sunni Muslim. Okay. And sometimes he finds it difficult. It's hard for him to put his bias aside, but he tries. I really appreciate that. So I also wanted to review the history of Muhammad coming from a Muslim, so that we don't get a biased version of it. So that's why I picked this channel.
First of all, Muhammad wasn't just a preacher or a prophet anymore. He was now something of a political leader. He was a statesman.
How's the audio? Can you hear?
I mean, I feel like the background music is a little loud, but that's just because of the levels in this video. That's not something we can do anything about.
Yeah. I think his music to speech audio ratio is kind of whacked. But if you don't hear something, let me I could repeat what he said.
Wasn't just a preacher or a prophet.
Okay, yeah. Kenji is saying we're starting at episode 3. Yes, we're starting at the time that when Muhammad became a leader. We're judging his leadership, not his entire life.
He was now something of a political leader. He was a statesman. Not exactly a king, but I'd say an emir, which is like a duke. Secondly, at this point, the revelation of the Quran changed dramatically. Before, in his 13 years in Mecca, the revelation mostly talked about concepts of Islam, like oneness of God, heaven, hell, and stories of the past prophet. But now, after the migration, the revelations were very different. They talked about legislation, warfare, everyday states issues, and their solutions. It really indicated
Yeah, and also they became longer. The chapters of the Quran also became longer. This is why.
This is when we start to get into the jurisprudence.
Yes, and yeah, the whole tone changes. They become less poetic, less pretty, So, and it's very interesting because so this is the surahs in the Quran. The verses are categorized as Makki or Madani. So if it's Makki, you know that these are the verses that came to Muhammad when he was in Mecca. And if it's Madani verses, that means those are the verses that came to Muhammad when he was in Medina or Yathrib. And because the later chapters were longer, and Osman, the third Khalifa, decided when he canonized the Quran, he decided for some reason, probably because of following the way the Jews did it, he decided to put the bigger chapters at the beginning of the Quran and the smaller chapters at the end of the Quran. So the longer a chapter is, except the Fatiha, everything else, the bigger the chapter is, it's at the beginning, the smaller it goes to the end, right? So
it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense from a marketing perspective because all the cute little pretty poetic verses are chapters at the very end, and you have after the Fatiha, you have the Baqarah right at the beginning. Like it's like
there's nothing you hate more than the Baqarah.
Baqarah. I hate the Baqarah. It's just it's the longest chapter, and it's right at the beginning. Like Osman was an idiot. He didn't understand how marketing works, right? You put the cute, like small little ones at the beginning, the one poetic, they're interesting, right? And you don't put that at the very end. And but also this makes it somewhat, again, not exactly the opposite of the order of revelation that came to the Muhammad. So right, so most of the chapters that came to Muhammad earlier during his prophethood are at the end of the Quran, and the ones that came to him later are at the beginning of the Quran.
Well, that's actually what I have the biggest problem with, because it's just really bad storytelling, right? So it also means that if you're someone who's new to this, you need in-depth instruction into it. And like you have to go learn what is the order of revelation in which you're supposed to go read this, right?
Right.
Instead of like if you're a new follower, if you're trying to pick up as many followers as possible, it should be easily digestible, right?
I never understood why they did that, but then I realized that I think they do that with the Talmud or something Jewish, like the commentary. I don't know.
They put all the long ones in the front?
I don't know. There's some books in Judaism that they do it in the same, and I think the Muslims were just copying them. Yeah. Okay, secular rarity, abrogation. We're not doing that today. We're going over Muhammad's leadership. Hold on. What is this? Alex saying. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's focus on the video.
The shift in Muhammad's life. This is where he becomes different than most prophets, for most prophets didn't have a realm to govern. In June 622 CE, Muhammad and his friend Abu Bakr arrived in Yathrib. Yathrib was almost immediately renamed to Medina al-Nabi, meaning the city of the prophet, shortened to Medina.
It was very weird because when he came to Yathrib, which they changed it now to Medina, like they changed the name to Medina, means Medina to Nabi, the city of the prophet. They're like, this like seems suspicious. Like, it's not believable. It's not a believable story. Like, we don't know who you are. We just heard that you're a trustworthy, and we're not gonna, in honor of your appearance, we're just gonna change the name of the entire city. Like, I don't believe it. Like, I don't believe this story, right? First of all, he lived in Mecca, and people in Yathrib or Medina now, they were having fights, and they couldn't figure out how to negotiate. So they're like, "Hey, we heard this guy in Mecca, who his entire tribe seems to be hating on. We heard that he was trustworthy. How about make him come, and we all agree that anything that he decides for this entire city." So by the way, this city is like mix of Arabs and Jews, right? And they couldn't decide how to like cooperate. Like they were having a lot of internal struggles, right? And they're like, you know what? Let's all of us agree that this random stranger from this other city that we heard rumors that he's trustworthy, we all just basically say whatever he decides for all of us, that's what it goes. Okay? And people were like, sure. Everybody agreed. And not only that, they didn't change the name of the city. And the Jews even agreed. Like half the city were Jews, and they're like they didn't become Muslim, but they're like, okay, so we're changing the name of the city to the city of this prophet. We're calling it the city of the prophet, and we don't even recognize his prophethood. But we're okay, and we're gonna be like, he just. And by the way, he comes up with this agreement, and the Jews like have to agree that they support the Muslims, and the Jews all sign. Like, it's just not believable. I don't. This story, whoever wrote it, it doesn't. There's something sketchy about all of this. Everybody just agrees.
Would you say that there are holes in the narrative?
Yeah, yeah. These are holes in the narrative. Yeah. Oh, Alex is saying it just goes to show how great it was. Like, yeah, everybody just recognized him as being such a.
Muhammad's immediate challenge was trying to integrate the migrants or the Muhajirun into the Muslims of Medina, the Ansar. They were all.
Oh yeah, so the Muslims were divided in two: the Muhajirun and Ansar. Okay, and this division continues until Muhammad's years after Muhammad's death. Right, so the Ansar were Muslims that were there and became in Yathrib, and they were like. They became Muslim in Yathrib, and the Muhajirun were the people that did the hijrat. Like, Muhajir means this is the person who travels, right? The person who migrates, right? So the people who left from Mecca to Medina, they're the Muhajirun. And there's always this battle: who did better, right? The Muhajirun were the better Muslims. They left everything. They left their family. They left all their possessions behind, and for the sake of religion, for the sake of Muhammad, they came all the way to Yathrib. All their right. But then the Ansar were also great because they accepted these strangers into their own home, and they fed them, and they took care of them, and all these Muslims were taking care of. The Ansars were like giving such devotion to these other Muslims who just left their city. So they're like, we fed you, we took care of you. I'm like, yes, but you didn't sacrifice like us. We gave up. We basically. And another thing they say about Muhajirun is that this is not normal back then, right? People don't just like leave everything behind and just go to another city and just leave. Like, this is like a radical, like, psychologically, people, this, like, in modern eras, like, maybe you decide, like, you know what, screw this city, I'm gonna go somewhere else. Okay. Back then, you don't do that. You don't just give up your livelihood, all your traditions, all your family, and just go like, goodbye guys, I'm out of here. Like, that's not normal back then. So that's like a major radical sacrifice that Muhajirun did. So any views on this?
No.
Razam saying it means refugee in Persian too. Didn't know it was Arabic. You didn't know Muhajirun comes from Arabic? It has the structure of so Hajara is the root, right? And you could he, je, re, and you could shape it into many things, right? Muhajir. Razam, you don't remember learning Arabic as a kid in Iran? Muhajir has the structure of mufa'el, and you put the roots of the Arabic into that, and you turn Hajara into Muhajir. Anyways, go. Sorry.
This is not a grammar lesson.
All right.
Muhajirun into the Muslims of Medina, the Ansar. There were also pagans there, but they slowly converted to Islam and never became a problem for Muhammad. The biggest minority was the Jewish.
Oh, the biggest minority. So here's the thing: the pagans, they all became Muslim, and they were never a problem for Muhammad. Who was the problem?
Islam and never became.
I know. The way that they just
Minority
bring
was
up that Star of David.
Yeah, the pagans were never the problem. They became
But
Muslim.
Exhibit A.
It was
What? Habibi.
I am, he's not saying they were the problem, but you could, if you put it right next to what he said before.
Muhammad. The biggest minority was the Jews. They mostly lived on the outskirts of the city in their own forts, which also served as blacksmith workshops. They made weapons, which was their financial backbone. Muhammad saw the Jews as people of the book, since they were also an Abrahamic faith.
All right, I don't know why he's showing this picture right now. This was not built at this time. This was built at the time of the Umayyad Khalifa Abdul Malik.
It's pretty.
Oh, actually, this is another problem with this whole narrative. And some other holes in the narrative, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because apparently, according to Islamic stories, canonized, the Jews prayed towards this. And earlier, Muhammad followed the Jews as well, and instead of telling Muslims to pray toward, instead of making them pray towards Mecca, he told them to pray towards the Dome of the Rock, right? But the thing is, this wasn't built. Like, now we know that this wasn't built. So this is not even this wasn't even a thing. This was built years later.
Muhammad considered them an ally. In fact, at this point, Muslims prayed facing Jerusalem, same as the Jews. During his first year in Medina, Muhammad drafted the Constitution of Medina. This document outlined laws that would serve to turn the different people and tribes of Medina to unite under law. First of all, it declared Medina a haram, just like Abraham declared Mecca a haram. This meant that no one who agrees on the Constitution will conduct any bloodshed in Medina, especially Muslims. To this day, this condition stands. Secondly, all the tribes and communities living in Medina will face no interference in their religion from another community. This was especially for Jewish minority. The most important clause was that if one community of Medina is attacked by an outsider, all of the communities will band together to defend them. No community.
See, this part is kind of shady, right? So you have now a whole bunch of Muslims in your city, and the Jews are signing a constitution that says if the Qurayshis come from Mecca and attack these new people, that, like, the Jews in Medina, right? They had no qualms with the Qurayshi tribe from Mecca. They had no fights with them, right? And they had no problems with them. And now you have this prophet that is causing a whole bunch of problems from the tribes in Mecca in your city. And you're signing a document that says, oh yeah, if they come here and they attack this guy, we have to defend. We have to defend him. Why would you sign
What's
this?
in it for them?
What's in it for them? Like, hey, I don't know. Like, we're like Jews. You guys are Muslims. I don't know why. We wish. If I was one of the Jews, I would look at this document and I would be like, you know what? I wish you the best of luck with your prophethood and all. But I don't know why I'm being dragged in the middle of this fight. Like, why would they sign this? But go on.
I mean, well, it sounds like this is like they were kind of strong-armed into it, especially on the condition of number 2. Like, what are they getting out of it? Well, I guess what they're getting out of it is, okay, well, they won't interfere with their community. Just a thought.
Yeah, but that would make it coercive, then, no? That would then make it like, because this number 3 part is what leads to war crimes by Muhammad later in the story. Okay? Remember this number 3 part, because this is going to become relevant. Okay?
I mean, to me, it sounds a little bit like a protection racket.
Yeah. It's like the mafia?
Like extortion.
Yeah.
I don't know. I wasn't there in the 7th century.
Razam is saying Muhammad was very charismatic. I can't say that. Charismatic, persuasive, and manipulative. Was he? I don't know. Yeah, we'll see.
It will help an outsider or even support them against a community of Medina. Lastly, it declared that all internal disputes in Medina will be resolved by Muhammad, which was
What? Okay, look at this.
Wait,
Number
okay,
4.
that's the worst condition of all.
Why would?
wait. I love how we were like picking through this contract and we're like, I don't think they're really getting a lot out of this. And then there was even another condition that was even worse.
Yeah, why would the Jews sign this? And like, yeah, this guy that is the prophet. You guys are all Muslims and we're Jews. We don't believe in this guy's prophethood. But what are we gonna agree that everything is settled? Oh my God, nothing will be settled outside of Muhammad's domain. Why would you sign this? What are you getting out of this?
Well, because they're a minority within the city now, right?
What? I mean, they're kind of half-half. Couldn't they be like, why wouldn't this be like, we decide together, we vote on it or something like that?
Democracy, who?
I mean, this seems like it was supposed
Armin,
to be a...
don't impose your liberal values onto other cultures.
No, but this was an agreement that we were led to believe that everybody willingly entered it. I just don't buy it that as the Jews in Medina, you would willingly buy. Like there's some level of pressure or something. Without any pressure or anything, you would just agree to this. It doesn't make any sense.
why he was in Medina in the first.
There probably was some
This
pressure.
Yeah,
I'm just
I
gonna.
mean, there's holes in the narrative.
document brought the groups together to make them stronger. Meanwhile, the number of Muslims in Medina was rapidly growing. He settled the Muhajirun with the Ansar by pledging them to support the Muhajirun financially, if possible. The Ansar had
Oh, so the answers were like the Muhajirs were like the really poor now because they came with nothing. They just came with their clothes on their back. And now Muhammad was like, okay, the Muslims who lived in Yathrib, you guys need to pay. You guys, these are my buddies that I came here with. You guys need to financially support my buddies from Mecca, right? And the answers were like, okay.
He must have been so charismatic.
Right.
Because this sounds like a really bad setup to.
Like, at what point do the people in Medina thought to themselves, maybe inviting this guy here wasn't such a good idea?
Yeah, right?
Like at what point? Because look what happened.
We have to financially support you and your band of hippies. Great.
Because when they first invited him, it was because they were having internal struggles and they needed somebody to like settle things for them, right? But now what they're getting is that they have to now militarily like get into war and defend Muhammad's buddies if anybody attacks them, right? Any form of settlement or any agreement on anything has to go through Muhammad. And if you're like living here, you have to financially support Muhammad's buddies from Mecca, right? Like at what point did they decide like, guys, we went too far? Like, I don't know. It seems like a really bad, very one-sided deal.
But not everyone in Medina owned a farm, so economically they weren't very well off. During the first year, Muhammad started construction of
Oh, by the way, this is now in Medina. Okay, so there are two mosques in Saudi Arabia. They're the two holiest places in Islam. The one in Mecca, where everybody prays towards to, and this is where Muhammad's house in Medina became the first mosque. Okay, and now this is what it looks like now, which I really want to go see, guys. This is actually very pretty, and it's really pretty inside as well. Okay,
people send me pictures when they have to go visit when their families.
Oh my god, I really wish I could go.
So that's cool, straight from the ex-Muslims.
Yeah, there are ex-Muslims here.
Well, it's not selfies, but it's like, look where I am.
Yeah, guys, there's probably one of the...
Stay safe.
Stay safe. There's probably secret ex-Muslims right here, right now. Like this guy right here. is an ex-Muslim, but he's like forced by his family to come here. They don't like it. They don't like going there, but they would like it. I mean, it's pretty. I mean, as somebody who is like enjoy it, because
You're
I wish
allowed
I could go.
inside.
Because you're allowed. Like I wish I could go there as a secret Muslim.
Armin, like a sad puppy. Let me. I want to see the mosque. I'm just
Alex,
a dirty kafir.
oh my god. Alex is saying it must have been really bad before Muhammad came. Well, it doesn't seem like it was that bad. They just had some disagreements. It wasn't even civil war level bad. Like they weren't even like raising swords on each other. They just had like some disagreements. Kenji saying we should troll Muslims by referring to Medina only as Yathrib because we don't recognize Muhammad as a valid prophet.
That's pretty good. Oh wait, Fatima's doing the
Oh
Aragon.
yeah, we were both
Let me
highlighting it.
in. Let me in. You at the doors of the shrine at Culm. Let me in.
Oh god. Yeah. What happens if I just like grew a beard and then just buy a plane ticket to Saudi Arabia and just try to go in?
Wouldn't they already extra scrutinize you because you're Iranian?
Oh, that's another thing. There are a whole bunch of like graveyards of like Shia people that Shias consider holy, or like when Shias come here, they want to kiss the shrines and stuff on Muhammad's burial ground, and there's like there's like these police officers with a stick. They hit the Shia because they're like, this is shirk.
Get your shirk out of our shrine.
Get your shirk out of here.
Cut it out.
Yes, the Shias, they come and they want to kiss the shrines and whatever they see, they want to touch and they kiss. And they're like, this is worship of dead. You can't worship the dead. Yeah. So.
Oh my god.
Yeah, they hit them with the stick. I know people. I know Shias that they saw their mother get hit with a stick when she tried to kiss. Yeah, it was really bad. Okay. I mean, some Shias will say like they're lucky they get hit with the stick because if you do shirk like that, you should be put to death according to Ibn Taymiyyah. If he was alive, he would be like, get hit with a stick. These people should be killed. Yeah. Oh wow, Varun. By the way, hey YouTube, I'm not saying that. That's what Ibn Taymiyyah says, not me. Varun saying right hand, right what?
Right hand on groin. I'm not sure what you mean.
I don't know what you mean.
Thank you for the $5.
Thank you for the super chat. Ooh, sounds like the basis for a great fetish.
Shrine.
Objectophilia with shrines. Rezem says, Armin, you're a Canadian citizen. How would they know you are Iranian? My Canadian passport has my place of birth on it. It says, my Canadian passport says place of birth.
And Saudi sure as hell knows that Iran doesn't recognize dual citizenship.
Yes. Anyways, let's go.
Mosque of the Prophet. It was to serve as a place of worship, a community center, and as headquarters to the Muslim community. All of the major decisions from this point on will be taken in this mosque. Meanwhile, in Mecca, the Meccans seized the properties of Muslims who had left for Medina. This understandably made Muslims very angry, and they began to see raiding as justifiable action.
Oh, so this is like a lot of people say Muhammad was raiding caravans, and this is like okay. So this is the justification for it, right? So all the Muhajirun who left Mecca and came all the way to Medina, they left their stuff here, right? So the Quraysh. Hashtag the Quraysh did nothing wrong. The Quraysh took all the Muhajirun's positions and took it for themselves. So they were like, okay, then if the Quraysh, by the way, the Quraysh is basically the tribe that rules over Mecca, and they were anti-Muhammad, right?
Well, and it was his tribe originally.
Yeah. Yes. So he was the Banu Hashim clan of the Quraysh. So that's too much detail. Yeah, the Quraysh was the entire tribe, and Muhammad was from that tribe, but but yeah, he lost all the protection from them when his uncle died. That's too much detail. But yeah, so they took everything, all the people that left Mecca for Muhammad and they came to Medina, the Qurayshi tribe, they took all their money. So now the Muslims in Medina are like, okay, this gives us legitimacy in if the Qurayshi, because the Qurayshis were doing trade, all of these areas around here, the caravans kept going up and down and left and right, and they were like, we could go attack these caravans and take their money because they took our money, right? They took our positions here, so we'll take their position. By the way, what is this painting? This is supposed to be Muhammad? I didn't know there was something. Yeah,
it's pretty.
Medina, while not a trading hub itself, was on a major trade route between Mecca and Jerusalem. The Muslims, economically weak, started raiding. About 1.5 years after the Hijrah.
You know what? Let's be honest. That doesn't seem very fair, okay? Like, I'm pretty sure there are a whole bunch of people that have positions in these caravans that weren't exactly the same people who were involved in taking the positions of the Muhajirun. Do you know what I mean? Like, imagine you're a caravan trader and you're doing business with the Quraysh, right? And you were not like, was there a court? Like, was there a way to figure out, like, okay, we're not taking your money because you weren't involved in taking the money away from the Muhajirun? Like, it just seems so unfair, right? This is a form of collective punishment. You were just gonna take because somebody took from us? Well, are you sure that all of these traders in these caravans, they were involved in taking the money away from the Muhajirun? Right?
Maybe they had evidence. Yana, I have evidence. No, you're probably right.
Are we being fair? I'm trying to be objective here. We're being very anti-Muhammad, right, so far.
Okay, let's go a little anti-Quraysh just because.
No, not the Quraysh did nothing wrong. I would not.
Hashtag justice for the Quraysh.
Wait, yeah, hashtag justice for Quraysh. I mean, come on, guys. The Quraysh was very reasonable. Muhammad came with this religion, and the Quraysh was like, yeah, sure, you can have your religion. Just don't crap on our religion, okay?
He was like,
no. I'm going to insult your gods. And they're like, then the Quraysh were like, okay, fine, insult our gods. Just chill, okay? Whatever. And he was like, you know what? I'm going to go farther than insulting your God. Nobody should pray to your gods, okay? It should be bad. Your gods are fake. And the Quraysh were like, man, like, we make money from these gods. Like, people come here to pray to this God.
Why you gotta do me like that?
Like, we're being tolerant of your God. Like, we're not stopping people from worshiping your Allah. Why are you going around and telling people that our gods are fake? And even then, they didn't, like, kill him or anything. They went to his uncle, like, hey, can you, like, tell Muhammad what he wants? So that he, like, stops, like, meddling with our business and all. And Muhammad was like, I just want you guys to stop worshiping your gods. That's all I want.
He's like, oh, Mr.
I'm like, okay. And they're like, yeah. I mean, they did try to assassinate him at some point, but can you blame them? You know what? We should blame the Quraysh, because if we don't blame the Quraysh and we want to be, like, fair to Muhammad, then we're going to have to, like, start blaming the Jewish people in Yathrib, and I don't think that's kosher. So,
I mean,
who else are we gonna blame? Like, if we're gonna take Muhammad's side on anything? Oh, we got a super chat.
Ah, thank you for the $2, Sid Dave.
Yes, that's very accurate. Actually,
Muhammad was the Trump of 7th century Arabia.
That is more accurate. That is so, like, in so many ways that I'm not even gonna be able to get to. Yeah. Thank you so much for the super chat. But let's continue.
In 623 CE, a Meccan caravan coming back from Palestine with a lot of riches and weapons, I might add, were afraid that Muhammad might raid and take those riches and weapons. So they informed Meccans of this, and Meccans, tired of Muhammad taking their money, dispatched an army of 1,000 men. Meanwhile, Muhammad, planning to only raid a caravan, brought some 300, or as mostly said in tradition, 313 men. The caravan...
You know, this would have been a good time for God to, like, send a revelation, because Muhammad was like, yay, a caravan, let's go raiding. And he didn't know that there was 1,000 Qurayshi coming to protect the caravan. So he only had 300 men when the Quraysh had, like, a 1,000 men. So Gabriel could have been like, "Hey, dude, you might wanna like change strategies. There's like 1,000 or like, but no." Gabriel was like, let's play it out. Let's see let's see how it goes.
Boys, I've got a good feeling about this.
They said in tradition 313 men. The caravan changed their route, but Muhammad's raiding party met the Meccan army at Badr.
Badr, this name. This is the first battle, first of the 3 battles, okay? Battle of Badr, okay? Everything from then on is named after Badr, okay? Like this is one of the most common names military, Islamic military groups or radicals, or like, hey, the Badr brigade, the Badr this, the Badr missile, the Badr tank, the Badr what gun. This battle is so popular that you just like they overdid everything when it comes to force or military. Just name it Badr and you'll be safe, unless you're Shia and you do Zulfaqar or something like that.
This commenced the Battle of Badr. Muhammad's army was seriously outnumbered and outgunned. However, thanks to divine intervention or just Muhammad being a brilliant general, Muslims won the battle.
Oh yeah, we were told that angels came and fought on the side of Muhammad, and they were like, this is not officially part of the story. This is like so ridiculous. What?
We have revelation here.
Oh wow. Oh.
I warned him. He refused to listen.
Right. Okay, so in this battle, this is not a canon official part of the story, but this is the story that we were told as children, that in this battle, like there were angels coming in and just like with a sword and like cutting the head of the enemy, and they couldn't see it. They're like the enemy was attacking, and they were like, whoop, their heads will go up in the air because there was an angel. Like, anyways, but this is not canon. Yeah.
Oh my.
This is not canon though. Don't quote me this.
Fought back an army thrice their size, and Meccans were humiliated by this and would come for vengeance in a year or 2. This battle was a display of a couple of things. First of all, Muslims weren't as weak as they looked. Secondly, the Ansar fought side by side the Muhajirun. Even though technically the Ansar didn't have any beef with the Meccans, this showed a community that was truly united in sickness.
So the Ansar were like, we got you, we protect you, we have no beef in this fight, but for some reason we give you money, we give you our house, we give you everything, and we also fight for
boys.
No one messes with our Muslim brothers. Basically, yeah, that's basically what happened. Yeah, they were like, look at the ummah. This is the early ummah, Islamic ummah. Look at the unity. Look at the brotherhood. Look at the close, all that, right? Like people like
they knew it was to come.
Yeah, but by the way, this is why Medina and Muhammad's rule at this time is something that Muslims say was never achieved ever again. Like this is the role model for the closest thing to perfection when it comes to a community of people living together, right? Nothing ever will, every time you want to see if a leader is doing good or not, you just have to compare it to what Muhammad was doing in Medina and what the Ummah. These are the Muslims that are celebrated because they would lived with Muhammad. Okay, like they don't say it, but it's kind of like they worship these Muslims because they are Muslims who like live with Muhammad. So the actions and everything they did is a lot more significant than the Muslims that came after, right? Anyways.
Soon after this battle, Muhammad expelled a Jewish tribe called Banu Qurayza. Muslims these days say that a Jewish jeweler had molested a Muslim woman, which escalated to violence. Some sources say that this is not true at all. Instead, Muslims just wanted to get rid of Banu Qurayza because Muslims perceived them as a threat. Anyways, after
okay, so this is there. Yeah. What?
Oh, I mean.
So there was a conflict between some Muslims and some Jews, and the details, there's a lot of details about, like, somebody said something about someone's wife, blah, blah, blah. It was like, I don't know, the details are messy. But the idea was that it seemed like Muslims were finding an excuse to get rid of this. There's 3 Jewish tribes that Muhammad has to deal with throughout his ruling of Medina. This is the first one, right? So at some point, Muhammad decides that, you know what, this entire Jewish tribe needs to leave Medina, all of them, okay, over conflict between a handful of people, okay, which is again a form of collective punishment, right? But
Totally.
this is not at all the. It's gonna get so much worse. Okay, so we have three tribes. The first tribe that Muhammad had an issue with was these people who were forced to leave. We'll get to the second one, and the worst one is the third one. I haven't actually something to tell you about these three tribes. Then, if you look at the constitution of that everybody signed to, the agreements that we showed, okay, you don't find the name of these three tribes on that constitution as the signatory, which is weird because we were told all the Jewish tribes signed it, but none of these Jewish tribes, none of these three show up there. This is the holes in the narrative. Let's continue.
That this is not true at all. Instead, Muslims just wanted to get rid of Banu Qurayza because Muslims perceived them as a threat. Anyways, after a siege of 2 weeks, Banu Qurayza surrendered and were expelled. In 624 CE, about a year after Badr, with similar circumstances, a Muslim army of about 700 men met a Meccan army of about 3,000 men. Meccans
you don't see that many things named after this. This is now the second battle, and you don't see that many things named after this battle. Guess why? Oh, we got a super chat.
Yeah, I'm assuming it didn't go so well.
No, it didn't. You want to read this?
Sid Dave, thank you for the $5. Saying story of Badr are used to incite to mobs to commit violence. These evil stories inculcate a superior complex and the belief that my God is superior to yours.
Interesting. Yeah, Badr is.
I kind of get like the mentality of like, this is what some of the best Muslims did. Like, this is what we must do too.
Right. We might have to do this in 2 parts. We're already getting to 1 hour. Yes, Uhud. Yeah, let's do this in 2 parts. Okay, let's do this to 8-minute mark or something, and then do the rest.
Yeah, we can do halfway.
Halfway, yeah.
To win back the prestige they had lost at Badr. Muslims.
Oh, so the Quraysh is like, okay, let's do a do-over. Because like the first fight, like we were take 2, like first battle, there was 1,000 of us and there were 300 of them, and then we lost. Let's try this again. So now Battle of Uhud.
Well, like pirates, they wanted to live in a raid, but in a bit of a civilized manner. So the Battle of Uhud commenced. Early on, Muslims were very good. Meccans even began to retreat. Muhammad had put some archers to defend a passageway that led to the rear of the Muslim army. As the Meccans began to retreat, these archers thought they had won the battle.
Okay, he's missing a crucial part of the story. The crucial part of the story is that Muhammad specifically and explicitly had told the archers to do not leave your position. Hold your ground no matter what happens, okay? Muhammad told the archers to stay there no matter what happens, stay there, okay? But then when the Meccans were running away, there was too much booty. There was so much booty to go collect, and these archers they saw their Muslim brothers collecting them, and they're like, wait, we're like, if we keep staying here, we're gonna miss out. And they were like, guys, I think the battle is over. Like, look at them. The Meccans are running away. Like, is the battle over? And they're like, yeah, the battle is over. If we keep staying here, we're gonna miss out. So they just started going. They left their position, and that's when everything turned bad.
Archers thought they had won the battle and moved to collect loot. The passageway opened, and Khalid ibn al-Walid took some American cavalry to attack Muslims from
the old switcheroo, like coming from behind,
the rear. Remember that name, Khalid ibn al-Walid. He became one of the strongest weapons in the Muslim arsenal a few years later. Muslims suffered heavy losses, but fortunately for the Muslims, the Meccan army was already breaking due to low morale. Okay,
so this is a defeat. Even though most of them left, this coming from behind, this was like really bad. Like it killed a whole bunch of Muslims. And I think if I remember correctly, Muhammad almost died. And there was a rumor that Muhammad died as well. I don't know. Yeah. Oh, here. We got a super chat.
I don't know how to say that. Please do a session on Masalima, who was a rival prophet to Muhammad and nearly defeated the Muslims. He allowed wine, no circumcision, and just 3 prayers.
I have no idea about what they're talking about. I will look into this and see if this is true. I don't know.
I'm into
But
the no
that's
circumcision.
yeah, that's very. I have no idea. Okay, thank you, David. I don't think any of this is historic though, but I'll look into it. Interesting. Thank you.
They couldn't do the kind of damage that this would have allowed them. The Muslims retreated. Muslims lost this battle, but they did enough damage to the Meccans that they couldn't move to destroy the Muslims and capture Medina. Muhammad himself was injured, and his uncle Hamza ibn Abdul Muttalib was killed in the battle. Around a year after this,
Oh yeah, they killed Hamza and they ate his liver.
battle in 624, Muhammad
wait.
received divine revelation.
So there's just casual cannibalism.
There's some casual cannibalism in the middle of that battle.
Okay.
Yeah. I think I don't know why he didn't put that part. Like it's like yeah.
Doesn't sell, does it?
I mean, it wasn't the Muslims who were doing the cannibalism; it was the Meccans who did that. When Hamza died, she came. This is, by the way, Muawiyah's mother, which is who did this. Anyways,
25 CE, Muhammad received a divine revelation that a Jewish tribe, Banu Nadir, was trying.
Second Jewish tribe to bite the dust.
I'm sensing a theme.
I'm sensing a theme as well. Oh yeah, Abu Sufyan. Abu Sufyan's wife, not Abu Sufyan. Abu Sufyan himself didn't. Wife of some big leader. Yeah, in Mecca, wife of Abu Sufyan, who is also the mother of Muawiyah. Which is why a lot of people refer to Muawiyah as the son of the liver eater for behind his back.
Oh my!
Yeah. Anyways,
that a Jewish tribe, Banu Nadir, was trying to kill him. So he invaded the tribe and expelled them from city. I guess expelling Jews was sort of becoming a celebration ritual for the Muslims.
And he's saying that as a Muslim. Okay,
I mean, he's honest about it.
He's being honest about it. I'm going to give this guy a like, okay? Guys, go check out this channel. I'm subscribing, and I'm also going to hit the bell button and get all. Guys, do this with our channel as well. But that's pretty honest. I mean, for a Muslim to say this, that's pretty honest. One more time.
Expel them from city. I guess expelling Jews was sort of becoming a celebration ritual for the Muslims. 2 years after this,
that was pretty good.
The way he says it too is kind of like,
right?
It doesn't sound too good, does it?
No, it doesn't. Ooh, actually, when he gets to the part with the third tribe, which we probably do on a different day, then it gets, because these two first tribes, they just expelled them, right? The third tribe, when Muhammad had a problem with the Jewish tribe, it's probably the worst thing Muhammad has ever done. Okay, and this guy, as a Muslim covering that, you could just see how uncomfortable he gets with that.
Yeah.
Right. So, but he does such a good job at being a Muslim, being a Sunni Muslim, and trying to give you the honest truth. I really appreciate that about this channel. Okay. Guys,
what did Muhammad do? What did he do to them?
We'll cover that in the next episode.
No.
Because that would be the second half. Okay, so we're gonna cover that. But guys, one thing I want to mention is that given that I think that all of these stories are made up and none of them happened, and all of these stories were written during some of it during the Umayyad dynasty, but most of it I think during the Abbasid dynasty. I mean, I'm not saying no. It wasn't written during Abbasid dynasty, but it became fully formed and canonized and took shape and cleaned and everything during the Abbasid dynasty. Then what fascinates me is why these stories. So every time I see this story was added and Muhammad said this and they kicked out this tribe and this person said this, all of these stories becomes a lot more interesting to me because there's an intention behind including all these stories, right? So what political reasons were there behind, for example, like now these are questions that we will never have answers to, but it just fascinates me to think like, okay, why is this here? Why did the Abbasid include this story? Why did they not include that story, right? Because we know there's an actual intention behind including some stories and not the other ones. Anyways, that just makes me wonder all the time.
627 CE, 5 years after.
Oh, this is the third battle. Let's just do this last battle and then we do the rest of it. Okay, this is the third battle, and this is when Persians lose their get a hard on. Okay, and this is the battle that the Persians get a hard on whenever we get to this battle. Okay, the Battle of the Trench, Khandak.
The Iranian nationalists.
The Iranian nationalists are like, Islam was like, oh, the Iranian invention. By the way, this whole idea of, because a lot of Iranian nationalists, they want Iranians to be responsible for everything. Everything comes from Iran, okay?
We was kings.
We was kings. Okay.
But that's really how it is.
Oh my god!
Everyone's name is about being a king.
Okay, but no. But it's interesting because they are unintentionally correct about maybe Islam being an Iranian thing, but not because of this third battle here, right? Which you'll see what I'm talking about, but because the Abbasides invented Islam, and Abbasides were following the Persians. So even they are correct, but for a reason that they don't even know. Anyways, let's continue.
The Jewish tribe Banu Qurayza and Banu Nadir, whom Muhammad had expelled, allied themselves with the Meccans.
Ooh, like these are like, they were salty. They were like, you kick us out, we go unite with your enemies. By the way, guys, a lot of this is justification for anti-Jewish hatred. Okay, a lot of these stories were added, I suspect, for coming up with reasons why anti-Jewish hatred is justified. That's my guess. I might be wrong.
To take Medina. A confederacy of multiple Arab tribes also joined in. An army of 10,000 men was raised against Medina.
10,000. Remember, the first battle was 1,000. Now the Meccans are coming with 10,000 men.
Called on his council to decide what to do.
Look at this. Guys, look at this, okay? You have like really old art of Muhammad, and this whole idea of having to block his face was not modern. A thing. It's mostly like, it's a very modern thing. Look, because this is a very old art by Muslims about the Prophet, and the Prophet. Yeah, it depicts a prophet, and there's probably fire around his face here, because every time they depicted to honor him, they would put like flames around his head. So they were honoring him.
Differentiate him, right?
Yeah. I mean, okay, these are the Sahaba. Like, look, even the people that were living with Muhammad, they were holy enough to get their own halos. You see that? Because Muslims just celebrate all the Muslims that lived with Muhammad. And because they were just next to him, so they all get the halo. They all get the halos. That's how much they were. Yeah, but this whole blocking the face is like very modern.
Medina didn't have any walls to protect it from invasion, so it was going to be difficult to defend it. Multiple suggestions were passed, but the one that was most acceptable was Salman the Persian's suggestion.
Did you hear that?
You're telling me this is your people's fault? No.
No, but guys, let me tell you how. Okay, I'm gonna guys, if you're Persian, you might get offended by this, okay? Because Salman the Farsi, or Salman the Persian, as this guy says it, was nowhere to be found throughout Muhammad's life story. Okay, he just shows up right like most of these other characters. They have a background story. They did this, they that, and now they're here. And then they like each one of these Sahaba, they will continue. They died at this battle later, like 20 years later, 30 years later, 50 years later. You could, like, if you follow Islamic stories tradition, you could follow their early stories, and then at this point, and then for years later, you could see, okay, where did this guy die, or where did that happen to that guy, right? But Salman Farsi, he just comes here, he makes a suggestion, which makes the Muslims win the battle, and then he disappears. He just goes away. He just comes out of nowhere. And he's like, hey, I have a suggestion. Muhammad is like, yes. And then, done. Where is he? Nothing. He's just like this mysterious figure. And by the way, the reason why he's there is because he comes from the Zoroastrian, the Persian Empire, right? And apparently they were militarily better than Muslims, right? Like they understood how to do warfare. So some of us are like, you know what we do back at home, where we're not like nomads, and we're just like we have actual armies. This is what we do. We make a trench, okay? And Mom was like, ooh, cool. I like that suggestion, right? So he was basically...
I'm listening.
This is like the superiority of the Persian way compared to Arab ways. And I think this is like a Abbasid propaganda right here, right? I'm not sure, okay? Because the Abbasids were Persian, and they were like, let's add Salman Farsi here to be like, we saved Muhammad. We saved Muhammad. We showed them how to do actual battle. Like when you don't have the numbers, you build a trench. And the Arabs were like looking at this. We're like, what is this? We've never seen a trench before. What are you doing? We're digging a hole in the ground. Like, okay. But that was like Salman the Persian was teaching the Arabs how to do strategy.
But what did they do with the trench?
Okay, let's see.
Okay.
Okay.
Dig a trench around Medina. On three sides, Medina had rocky mountains and trees, which were difficult for an army to march through, especially 10,000 men. So the Muslims just had to secure the northern side, and they were ready for a siege. All able men, over 14, contributed to digging the trench in just 6 days. Muslims harvested their crops early to ensure the Meccans wouldn't be able to replenish their supplies. Medina was struck by a famine, but through all this, the Muslims held on, because their survival was at stake. The Meccans and their allies arrived outside Medina. A trench was something they had never seen before. They were
a trench. They're like, what is this? A trench? What is a trench?
Baffled. And
how did they have a word for it then? They call it khandak. So how did they know what to call it?
To wait the Muslims out. Some troops did try to cross the trench, but they were at a huge disadvantage because the trench was very deep. The siege went on for about a month. While the siege was going on, tribes.
What?
This can't be just any ordinary trench.
It was a super uber.
It's got to be like really wide too.
Yeah. So, actually, you're right, because I remember as a child reading stories about Meccans trying to like jump it with a horse, and they fell and they got into the stakes and they died. Like,
they put stakes in the trench as well. Okay.
Yes, they were like, I remember stories of Meccans like, yeah, I'm gonna. And wait, was there a story of one guy making it, but he didn't realize that he's going to be the only one, and now he's on the other side with all these Muslims, and he died.
Oh no!
I don't remember. I think these stories, by the way, are not canon. These are all just like interesting stories.
From the Confederacy crossed the woods around Medina to meet with Banu Qurayza. Banu Qurayza was pretty much the only Jewish tribe left in Medina.
This is the third tribe. This is the third Jewish tribe, okay? So what happened? They committed the worst crime compared to that other tribes, okay? Hold on.
The Meccans and their allies arrived outside Medina. A trench was something they had never seen before. They were baffled and decided to wait the Muslims out. Some troops did try to cross the trench, but they were at a huge disadvantage because the trench was very deep. The siege went on for about a month. While the siege was going on, some Jewish tribes from the Confederacy crossed the woods around Medina to meet with Banu Qurayza. Banu Qurayza was pretty much the only Jewish tribe left in Medina. Abiding by the constitution of Medina,
I don't know how this is believable, because abiding by the constitution, if you actually go read the constitution, their name is not there as signatory. So why would they have to abide by the constitution?
Medina, they had even supported Muslim defenses by supplying them with weapons and some digging tools. However, seeing 10,000 men on the horizon, they were scared. Jewish leaders from the Confederacy persuaded them to attack Muhammad from the inside. Muhammad found out about this. An Arab leader named Naim ibn Masud had secretly converted to Islam, and Muhammad asked him to sow dissent in the Confederacy. Naim ibn Masud first went to the Banu Qurayza. He told them that the Confederacy will not hesitate in abandoning them should the siege fail, and Muhammad will show them no mercy. The Banu
Wait,
Qurayza
wait, pause. Look at what he wrote in the scroll. Yo, BK, the Meccans ain't your homies, bro. Soon things will go south. They go south too, but that's because they live south of here.
Okay, Banu
Offering the
Qurayza. This
No,
by
but
guys.
he typed it out like it's a chat log.
Yeah, I know. I like it. Guys, this Banu Qurayza part, this is the worst part of Muhammad's life. This whole what's about to happen.
Receives their support if they handed over Confederate leaders as hostages. Naim ibn Masud then went to Abu Sufyan ibn Harb, whose last name means son of war, and I really like that. Abu Sufyan was the leader of the Meccans in the Confederacy. Naim told
You want to read this?
him that the Banu Qurayza had backed
Banu Qurayza, makes sense, buddy. At Son of War, give me some of your men as leverage, or the deal's off. Son of War, dude, uncool. Come on, you know we're your homies, man. Man, screw this. I'm out of here. I gotta get to a shawarma party.
So Banu Qurayza, they tried to betray Muhammad, but it didn't work out.
off, and they wouldn't support them. Naim ibn Masud's intrigue was successful. The Confederacy was starting to break. Eventually, they abandoned siege. This was a huge victory for Muslims, and keeping to their tradition of expelling Jews after victory, Muslims did more than expel Banu Qurayza.
Okay, let's leave this for the next part. So Muhammad found
No,
out
I want
that.
to know.
Isn't this a good cliffhanger?
No.
Okay, fine. This is why we don't grow. We're supposed to give people a cliffhanger so they subscribe.
We always say that we're going to do part 2, and then we never do.
Okay, fine. We'll just do it. Okay. So this gets really ugly right now, okay? So the first 2 tribes Muhammad kicked out. This one was okay, let's just watch.
Muhammad, due to Banu Qurayza's betrayal during the siege, invaded their strongholds. Their siege went on for about 25 days before they surrendered. Now, this next part is very controversial. Muhammad handed over the judgment of Banu Qurayza to Sa'd ibn Mu'adh, a Muslim convert who was a former ally of the tribe and is said to have possessed a lot of knowledge of Jewish scripture. He ruled that all the men of Banu Qurayza be killed, women and children be enslaved, and their property divided among Muslims. Muhammad agreed to it and even said that Allah's judgment for Banu Qurayza is the same as that of Sa'd. The judgment:
all men should be beheaded. All the men from this tribe should be beheaded, and the women and children will sold as slaves, and the money from that sale was used to buy weapons.
was a massacre, killing hundreds of men. Some might say
I think it was 400, if I remember correctly, on that day, 400 Jewish men were beheaded while Muhammad and Aisha watched.
Oh my God.
Same as that of Sa'd. The judgment was a massacre, killing hundreds of men.
And guys, this is coming from a Muslim YouTube. You know, this is in Islamic canon. Like, this is not. We're not making this up. This is what Muslims believe, not what we are saying. You know, this is. We're not trying to like make it worse than it seems. This is part of the Islamic tradition, canonized in both their hadiths and their biography. And also there's references to it in ayahs as well. Do you want to read these things on the screen?
Yeah, so the first one that popped up was Muhammad distanced himself from the entire thing, saying Sa'd ibn I don't know how to say it. The chief of Oz to pass the verdict. But then he also said that Sa'd's ruling was the same as Allah's. So he stayed away from the executions as well. Some say it was because he was uncomfortable with it. It's also said that Muslim tribe Oz were former allies of Banu Qurayza, and Muhammad didn't want to alienate them.
these are, first of all, this part he stayed away is not what my understanding is. I think these are some people are trying to make it seem as not as bad. He specifically said that the judgment that was passed is a judgment that Allah approves. Like it was a good judgment. He said it was a good judgment. And what do you think about this idea of he making the way he passed the judgment was making a Muslim a Muslim convert from that tribe who understand Jewish texts to pass judgment on all these Jews based on their own scripture? Is that any justification or anything? I mean, what am I even asking? I don't know. I'm attempting to be like, because this is the worst part of Muhammad's story, all of it, right? And I'm just trying to not be biased, but like, how could you, like, this was genocide, right? Of this collective punishment. I mean, why did you sell the children to slavery? Like, can any Muslim ever explain to me the whole selling the children to slavery for punishing this tribe? Like, has any ever, like, what is, have you ever, I have never heard any justification of this. This is like, let's see what this YouTuber, how is he gonna justify it?
Some might say, how could a prophet stand behind this? But here's the thing about Muhammad and the way.
Ooh, he's actually gonna try to justify it. So he says, how could a prophet do this? But here's the thing. So let's see if he can actually justify it. I don't think he can, but
he governed. He always resolved issues, passed judgments by the involved parties' faith. If two Jews came to him to resolve a conflict, he would look at their scripture, not the Quran. This judgment, the Banu Qurayza one, was no different. Historian Martin links in his book Muhammad, his life based on the earliest sources.
Here,
Armin has to obligatorily pull out his own copy.
Martin Ling.
Armin's
Muhammad
favorite book of fiction.
Which is very interesting, because if you look at 14 years of Islamic writing on this, they didn't need to justify. They like if people like, you had to go to somebody named Martin Ling to come up with a justification for it, because for 1400 years, the Muslims who were writing their commentary on the story, they didn't even think that it requires justification, because obviously it's a prophet of God deciding what's best. So why do you even need to justify it? You needed somebody. This is why when you look for justification, you go to find somebody named Martin Ling to try to justify it. Anyways, let's continue.
Points out that this verdict came from Deuteronomy 20:11 to Deuteronomy 20:13, which reads, "If they accept your offer of peace and open their gates, all of the people there will become forced laborers to serve you. But if they refuse to make peace with you and wage war against you, lay siege to their city. When the Lord, your God, has delivered it to your hands, you must strike down every male with the sword." Now, I don't really know much about Jewish and Christian scripture.
So, okay, so you're not, like, what credit do you give to refer to, you're like, I didn't say it, it's their scripture. Well, you don't have to enforce such a horrible scripture, right? You don't have to enforce it. What is this, like, what kind of a justification this is? Like, well, if you're like, oh, let's look at the scripture. Yeah. This is, okay, Muhammad, this is what you could have done. Like, oh, my, okay, they're Jews. Let's look at their scripture. Oh, my God, no, we're not doing that. This is what you could have done. You could have been like, what the hell is this? We're not going to do that.
No,
we're not going to do that. Like, that would have been the proper reaction. I was like, well, if their scripture says, we might as well. Oh my God. Also, let's even go like, well, he was fair because he went by their scripture. Where's selling the children into the slavery part? Why did you have to do that?
Maybe that's also in Deuteronomy?
No, it's not. We're seeing it. It's right in front of us.
No, I mean there might be other stuff.
God. If they accept your offer of peace and open their gates, people there will become forced labor. What? To serve you? That's hot. Okay, first of all, this sounds like Yahweh talking to the Jews on how to treat the non-Jews.
Clearly.
This is not a
Clearly.
This is not about how other people are supposed to treat the Jews. Okay? And also, the first part of this is really bad too. It's like, if they surrender, they're your slaves now. So this is like Judaism not being very... Anyways. They're not... God damn it, man.
So you should certainly Google it and do some research yourself if you're into it. Anyways,
we're going to do the rest later. That was horrible.
Oh. That's quite a way to end things.
Well, it's your fault. I was going to end it on a lighter note. No, I'm kidding. Any comments that you want to highlight before we go?
No, that was well, we didn't really get into the question of the stream, which was did Muhammad lead?
No, how did Muhammad lead? We have gotten so far very, very horribly.
Yeah.
Yeah, we kind of did.
I still don't understand that.
We're gonna do the second part in the next episode. We will. I promise. I promise. Oh, I love your streams, guys. Like, can you like? How could any Muslim justify this? Okay, here's the thing. Let me be fair to Muslims. The vast majority of Muslims, they don't even know this story. They don't know the story. Okay. Most Muslims who know the story do not like defending it. Okay. They are uncomfortable about the story. Again, most Muslims are better than Islam. Most Muslims, vast majority of Muslims are better than Islam. Okay. So the people who do know the story, they're so uncomfortable about it, a lot of them, that they don't even attempt to justify that story. The ones who do try to justify it come up with the argument, well, it's wartime, your modern rules, like, it doesn't apply, you don't understand how things work during war, blah, 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 which is nonsense, okay? The war was over. This is collective punishment against children and punishing an entire tribe of people for something that their entire tribe wasn't even involved with, right? Which is ridiculous. And even if you wanted to punish a few of them, they didn't commit murder, okay? Anyways. But then you have a very tiny fraction, okay? A very tiny fraction that, again, this is a very tiny fraction of Muslims. Very, very tiny. Who would be like, yeah, good. They were Jews. Okay? So that is, I'm just saying, Muhammad, good on you, okay? Don't exaggerate how big that is, okay? Most Muslims, again, I'm telling you, are better than Islam. Anyways. Anything you want to highlight? Or we're good?
No, except that chat has accidentally introduced Tojo to Edging.
Oh my god, Tojo!
And
we're like destroying Tojo's innocence, which is good. Good. Tojo is learning a lot. Tojo is coming us. Tojo is coming. Tojo is coming here to learn about religion from us and
get sex education instead.
He's going with the whole. Okay, so time to Google. Oh wow! So high.
Minor perversion.
Yeah, Tojo, you keep hanging out with us, you're gonna be like, yeah, you're right. It is mild. All right. So wait. Soha said something. Let's end this here. Okay. So I was saying the justification I got was that they betrayed Muhammad and treason's punishment is death. Did you ask him what about the children who were sold into slavery? Did they commit treason as well? Again, there's so many holes in this narrative. First of all, it's collective punishment. Is that the whole tribe? Okay. Second, the punishment doesn't fit the crime. Thirdly, I mean, the women were also sold into slavery. I mean, also slavery as a whole. Like what the like, just giving legitimacy to that. Then there's what else? What else? One thing else. No, there was something else I forgot to say. The justification of God to betrayed Muhammad and treason punishment.
Well, they took all their possessions and split them among the Muslims.
Oh, one smaller hole in narrative is that my understanding is that if you go read the Constitution of Medina, this tribe did not have their name on that, which is basically this is probably because the people who were adding all these stories together, they weren't covering all the gaps in the story, anyways. But either this tribe did not sign the document, so I don't know how. So why are they being held to that constitution when they didn't sign it? Oh yeah, this is the actual justification that we get from the Muslims who are more
hardcore.
Yeah, it was God's punishment, so I cannot question it. Yeah,
gotta love dogma.
Oh yeah, by the way, yeah, actually another point. This is what the Taliban says. Oh my God, yes, this is an important part of the story I forgot. When they decided to behead the men from the tribe, right? They had to decide who's an adult and who's not an adult. And the way they did this is that they pulled down their pants.
And
if you had pubic hair, you were adult. So when they say they beheaded a whole bunch of adults, we're talking about a whole bunch of 13 and 14-year-olds as well that passed as
or
adults.
Just anyone with pubic hair.
Anyone with pubic hair, right? This is, by the way, Islamic canon as well. We're not making this stuff up. You could go look it up. And this is why Taliban, when they attacked the school, they quoted exactly the story, because people were like, you're killing children. And Taliban was like, we're not. We checked. Anyways, that's a bad way to end this. Bad way to end this stream. Anyways, sorry guys. This is
well. Good way is I did my eyebrows today and they turned out really good, so that's positive.
That's failed attempt at making this. We can't fix this. This is horrible. We can't. There's no way for us to make this better. Anyways, let's go. Sorry guys, this is done. Bye.
Wait, no, go subscribe and sign up for our newsletter.
Yeah, sign up for our newsletter. Link it. We need to do no, we can't. This is too. Yeah.